there are people who will not they will not accept. Everybody doesn't accept the ayahs of Allah. So in Surah Al-Furqan 25 and Ayat 52, so Allah is addressing here first to the messenger, and through the messenger He is addressing to all of us. Fala tutiAAi bihi jihadan kabeera. So you do not obey the rejectors, and jahidhum, strive against them with this. That is the great jihad, the great strive. This ayat contains jihadan kabeera. Arabic jihadan kabeera. Great jihad. The biggest jihad. What is the biggest jihad? What is the biggest jihad? To kill someone or die on a front? No. First of all, do not obey the rejector. And who is the rejector? Do you think the Christians are rejectors? The Buddhists are rejectors? The Hindus are rejectors? They are ignorant of the ayats. They are ignorant of the ayats. You call up anybody. Look, every human, whatever the label he carries, a Jew, a Christian, a Hindu, or a Buddhist, or atheist, or a label Muslim. Call him. Ask him. He doesn't know. So why are you labeling him and fighting him? No, what for? If a person doesn't know the ayahs of Allah, he is an ignorant. Jahil in Arabic. Ignorant, jahil. He is not a rejector. A rejector is a person who, when the ayahs are rehearsed to him, he listens to the ayahs and he rejects. He doesn't practice. He is a rejector. Who is a rejector? Whenever the ayahs are rehearsed to any human being, whether he is a Jew, whether he is a Hindu, whether he is a Buddhist, whether he is an atheist, whether he is an agnostic, whether he is a label Muslim, he listens to the ayahs and he rejects. He is the rejector. It is not the ignorant people. It is not the Muslim ignorant people or any other people who are ignorant of the Quranic ayats. You can't label them as rejector or you start killing them. They are ignorant. They don't know. So Allah says, Fala tutiAAi. So you do not obey the rejectors. So ladies and gentlemen, the believers or the Muslims in the sight of Allah will never ever believe the rejectors. And rejectors, I am explaining to you, are those people who listen to the ayahs and reject. So you do not obey them. Do not obey the one who have been ayahs are rehearsed to them and he rejects. Don't obey him. Don't obey the one who rejects the ayahs. So if he says something, do not obey him. So first address is to the messenger. Because the messenger was reciting the ayahs to the people and people listened to the ayahs. They understood the sense of it and they rejected. So to messenger Allah said, do not obey the rejectors. Do not obey the rejectors. And then further he says, further wajahidhum. And then you do jihad and strive with them. Struggle with these people who are rejecting the ayahs. With the ayahs of Allah, bihi, jihadan kabeera. That is the jihad, a great and big jihad. The big jihad is not to obey those who are rejecting the ayahs, the governing ayahs, the muhkamat ayat. They are rejecting the governing ayahs, the do's and the don'ts. They are rejecting. They don't believe and they don't practice. They are rejecting the ayahs. So they are the rejectors. So you do not obey them. So the basic struggle is within our community. In our Muslim so-called label community, you do not have to obey the rejector because they are listening the ayahs, they know, understand the ayahs, and they reject. So when they reject, so do not obey them. And once you do not obey them, then what you have to do? You have to do jihad. Do strive with with the Quran, where the Quran contains the do's and the don'ts. Because you are governing yourself, you educate them so that he start governing himself by the ayahs. Because it is again the ayahs, you have to govern your own soul. Who has done jihad? He's done jihad or strive for his own soul. So the biggest, that is the greatest jihad. That is the biggest jihad or strive. The biggest struggle or strive is that you have to confront a person who listens to the ayahs and he rejects. Then do not obey him and educate him, jihad him, struggle with him, show him ayahs of the do's and the don'ts so that he converts, he reverts. And this is the biggest jihad in the whole Quran. The biggest jihad mentioned is ayat. There is no other biggest jihad or greatest jihad in the Quranic ayahs or the strive. That you do not obey the rejectors, and then you strive with the Quranic ayahs, the do's and don'ts of the ayahs, you educate him. So now, Surah Al-Anfal 8 and ayah 73. وَالَّذِينَ كَفَرُوا بَعْضُهُمْ أَوْلِيَاءُ بَعْضٍ إِلَّا تَفْعَلُوهُ تَكُنْ فِتْنَةٌ فِي الْأَرْضِ وَفَسَادٌ كَبِيرٌ. And those who reject are protectors of one another. Unless you do this, there would be captivation and a great corruption in the earth. Now, people who are rejecting, one rejecting, there are many rejectors. Now Allah said, those who are listening to the ayahs, they listen to the ayahs and they do not practice, they are rejectors. So they form a group of rejectors. There are many group of rejectors, and these rejectors are protectors of each other. They protect each other. Who are those people? Who listen to the ayahs, they don't implement and practice, they just listen and reject. So they are protector of each other. So Allah is addressing to the believers, if you do not do the same, meaning if you believers do not protect each other, the believers, they do not protect each other, illa takun fitna, so there will be captivation and a great corruption in the earth. Meaning the people who are believers, meaning who listen to the ayahs, who follows the do's and the don'ts, they implement, they are more conscious of the ayahs all the time. These people, Allah is addressing them that you must protect each other as the rejectors are protecting each other. The rejectors are protecting each other, and if you will not against them, do not protect each other, the believers, then there will be big captivation and corruption in the earth. And you can see this world, in this world. In this world there is a big fasad, corruption is going on among the so-called liberal Muslim community. Because they listen to the ayat, they don't implement and practice. They reject the ayats. They are rejecting the ayats. So once they are rejecting the ayats, they are kafir, rejectors. And they protect each other. They make sure that these concepts which they think is right, not what Allah says in the ayahs, they back each other. So believers have to do the same. If the believers will not do the same, then there will be a great fasad and a great corruption in the earth. And that's going on. You can see that in the world. The corruption is going on because the believers are not protecting each other. And these rejectors, those who listen, they are listening daily, they are listening the ayahs. They read the ayahs, they understand the ayahs, they listen to the ayahs, but they don't practice. They just stand up and say that you are wrong, you are wrong, you are wrong. He's kafir, he's rejector, that's going on. And there's a big fasad going on.